Good morning. It is 6:19 a.m. on Friday, August 23rd, 2019. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So I thought today that I would talk a little bit about my latest improv class, which is Musical Improv 201. And it's a lot of fun. I've actually taken this class once before, but I had missed a couple of sessions, and it's just fun to retake anyway. But while the overall intent of the class is, of course, improvised musicals, one of the ways that we practice how to do that is studying the structure of existing musicals and that sort of thing. And so we had a homework assignment this week where we're going to focus in the next session on love and hate duets. And so in this last class, we talked about I wish songs. And so we had a homework assignment this week that was in two parts. One was to choose a love or hate duet from an existing musical and to analyze it a little bit. And so I did, for my example, I picked Love is an Open Door from Frozen. Now, if you know Frozen well, you know the song, but if you don't, the basic idea is that Anna, who is the sister that doesn't have magical powers, believes in love at first sight and thinks that she's found it. And so she's singing this duet with the man in question, and they're basically singing about how in sync they are. And so some of the questions we were asked about, to answer about the song in question are, what is the title and is it a metaphor? And then love is an open door. It's explicitly a metaphor. It's very transparently a metaphor. And it's a chorus song, which means that, there's a verse of lines and then a repeated chorus. And the chorus in this case is just the title, repeated. Love is an open door, love is an open door, love is an open door, and so on. And so then what is the structure of the song? Well, first of all, it's a peas in the pod song, which is common with love duets in the sense that it is basically both characters agreeing with each other about how perfect they are for one another. So, of course, part of what's interesting about this song that is not actually inherent to the song is that later in the story, it's revealed that the prince in question, Hans, is actually a liar, and he's just telling Anna what she wants to hear. But I think notably when studying the song, there's not really any clue of that in the song. I mean, I think you could possibly take from the song that it's sort of very light and trivial and superficial, sort of by design, in order to sort of lampshade the idea that love at first sight is, something you only see in cartoons and fairy tales. But in any event, we also studied, what are the nature of the verses? Well, the verse one is a why past verse, which means that they're singing about why they feel the way they do. And they're specifically mentioning things in their past. And they're both talking about the times in their past that they've all been frustrated or couldn't do what they wanted to do. And then they transition towards the chorus into a present, it's like, but with you, now it'll be different. And the alternative to a why verse would be a list verse, where you just list things that are examples of what you're singing about. And then verse 2 is a why present, where they talk about the things that make them perfect for one another. And then they transition into future tense, where they will leave behind the pain of the past and have a glorious future. And so that's kind of the nature of singing that. And then we were also asked to essentially write quickie I wish songs as a lyric exercise. Now, this is something where when doing an improvised musical, you would not pre-write lyrics. But by trying to write lyrics when you're giving yourself a little bit more time, it's practice for like how they're structured. And so I wrote a couple where we just picked up, it's intended to be a, slightly more deliberated than just on the spur of the moment, but it's always, it's just a little bit slowed down, just like you practice playing piano slowly and then you work up to the speed. But yeah, so I, got some titles, and then you outline those just like I did for Love is an Open Door, where it's like, well, what are the verses? What are they talking about? Are they list or why verses? And then you might have a bridge which contrasts. And so I have a few, but I ended up writing out lyrics to one called Room to Breathe. And the outline was that it's a list present song, a list present verse first, where the idea is you're listing reasons that having a big family can be sort of stifling. And then verse 2 is a list future, and that's all the thing, you're listing all the things that you could do if you had your own like place. And then the bridge would be a why past, where you're describing why it's been, and actually now that I look at it, I think the lyrics I wrote for the bridge are really more like a list past as opposed to a why past. I don't know, maybe it's a little, but then verse 3 would be a why present in terms of why it's finally time to move out anyway. So, yeah, and the bridge was a why past reasons that family has always been loving and supportive, because it contrasts this idea of like, oh, I'm desperate to move out, but there are things that I miss, that sort of thing. And so the lyrics I have, I'm not going to sing. Well, I don't know. I could sing them. I don't have accompanying music or anything. Part of doing the improv musical in the class would be you'd be naturally responding to whatever music the music director comes up with to play on the piano in the spur of the moment. But in a sort of general soft idea. So it's like, I wake up to the sound of my sister's snoring. I have to wade through siblings to brush my teeth. I can't even change my clothes without unsolicited advice. I just need some room to breathe. I'd like to have a big bed with clean silk sheets. Take my time in the bathroom without grief. I could try outfit after outfit, wearing anything I want. I would have some room to breathe. Of course, it's sometimes nice to have your family. There's always someone there when you need a hug. Lots of times we fight, but we always make up. But they'll have my back and my room when I move on. I know the time has come for me to step out, to blaze a brand new trail, sail uncharted seas. I'm moving on at last, going to find a new domain. It's time for me to find some room to breathe. There you go. So obviously, if I were trying to make that like an actual formal song, I would probably work on trying to make it scan a little better. But anyway, that was my musical improv homework this week. In any case, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.